We'll start with the positives. I thought our defensive players and passers, Taylor Lebo, Courtney Harnish, Kendall Merritt, I thought they really had a solid day. I thought in the morning they were fantastic. Maybe some of the best effort I've seen out of them in consistency over a long period of time, as long as they've been here. And then I thought in the afternoon they stayed good. I mean, we passed in system a lot. We just weren't able to connect with our hitters in the front row as much as we'd like to. So, but that was a positive to see them. Those three have battled it out all spring in a positive way. You know, we call it healthy competition, and I think that's a really good thing at this level. And every day we have stats and goals and things like that, and they're just neck and neck every day. And so it's really nice to see them. When one of them does well, the other two jump on the bandwagon and congratulate them, and then they fight to beat them. And I think that's what's making them so much better and so much more consistent in practice for us, and even on Saturday. So I thought that was a really big positive that I noticed. I also thought the middles did a pretty good job. When we played down in Kiva, they had a rough day, stat-wise and work-wise, and I thought they bounced back. Over a long day, when you only have two middles, they're jumping a lot and doing a lot of things, especially when you start the day with wash games and then just take an hour off for lunch and then you do a full match in the afternoon. That's a lot of jumping for them, a lot of focus. And I think Shantae ended the day at 260 and Awele ended at 320 or 330. So those are good enough numbers for them. Those are positive numbers, moving in the right direction numbers for them. I think Awele can hit that on a consistent basis when she's really focused and she's really locked into doing the work the way we want her to do it. The disappointing part of the day, and I think they would tell you this, is our pin attack. So our three attackers, you know, Amelia and Allison and Jess, they've been working extremely hard in practice. That translation from practice to a match and into the wash games didn't happen as well as we'd like it to be. The positive of that is they were extremely disappointed, and numbers don't lie. And so at the end of the day, you can always say you feel good about the way you did things, but in the end you win or you lose, and your numbers kind of prove where you are. So I said you can feel good and lose 3-0 in a match, and that's not really what we're looking for, is that ability to try. We're looking for production, and they know that, and they've really grown as a group, including Mallory, who couldn't play this spring and will help us in the fall. But as a group, they've grown. They can coach themselves now. They know when their timing is right. They know acceleration. They can understand what they're not doing well. They have to translate that, though, and just have a go-for-it attitude. They got blocked way too many times in one-on-one situations when their mindset should be, man, one-on-one, I'm going to bounce this ball. One-on-one, we get a little conservative and we evaluate and we do these type of things, and that's not the mindset we want them in. We want them to be too aggressive, and then we can back them off and make them play smart. So I thought we had a really good discussion after that. We're looking for the next 10 practices to really make that switch and make that a process for them, and then to see some change when we play at Purdue and we play at Circle City. So that's kind of my evaluation of the day. I think we're a little bit of a roller coaster. We need to find some consistency. It's when I told them when I watched them, it felt a little stressful, and they have to find kind of a middle ground where they can play at a consistent level and not be too high and not be too low, you know, when they falter.
And another thing that was new on Saturday, trying out the instant replay.
Yeah.
And we actually talked to Kyle from IT, and he walked us through the ins and outs of that. So let's check that out.
Here, and we've got two cameras set up high above the court here. One is up over the top of the court, which you're looking at right here. The other one is off to the side next to the scoreboard right now, and that's what that angle is right there. And using this panel here, I can switch between my two angles. So this play right here. Coach Dunbar-Kruzan had a question about that earlier in the game. So I can open up the clip, I can scrub forward. This is a pretty long volley, so I have to find my point in the clip here. This is it right here. So Coach had a question about this end line out. You can see the judge raises her flag there. And so coach came over. We turned the monitor to face her and the referee who came off of the stand. And I can use this wheel to jog frame by frame and see where the ball lands. Now, from this angle you might say, oh, I can't quite tell where the bounce is or anything like that. I can switch. It stays on the same, the same spot in the recording, but just switches my angles. And you can see the change of direction occurs right there as I'm jogging frame by frame. So the two coaches and the ref are looking at this. They say, oh, that's where the change of direction of the ball took place. Side out, end out, the line judge is correct. And so the idea behind this, we can get multiple camera angles. Right now we're playing with 2 cameras, but theoretically you can get 4, however many you want in here. Have one shoot down the net to look at, reaches over and deflections off the fingers. Maybe shoot straight down sidelines to see side outs and things like that. It's all an evolving process right now. Just as we sort of interpret the rules that the Big Ten want to lay down.
So back here, and a lot of things going on with instant replay and trying it out. What were your thoughts on this whole setup?
First of all, I really appreciate IT and the university. They came in and put up 3 different cameras with different angles, and then he came and they ran it the entire day, and I thought it worked fantastic for never doing that before. I thought it was amazing, some of the angles we could get. We were even talking about trying to get those angles and being able to film that for practice purposes so we can see the net game a little better, because you can't get that angle from an end zone. So it was a really great experiment, and I think it's going to work really well for the Big Ten. And it was just, it changes our game. There's a couple of calls that we went back to the replay and it was right or wrong, and they were different than what the referees said. So I think there's going to be a happy medium, though. We don't want to change the momentum of our sport. I think that the momentum is what the fast pace, and you make a great dig and you turn it over, and that momentum carries you into those next points. But if somebody challenges, then how long does that take? So I think we're going to have to really get a feel for the time it's going to add and how we're going to go about that. But it was a great experiment, and I'm glad that our university has jumped on board and really helped us in preparing for fall and trying out the instant replay.